I was a struggling mom that was faced with probably the worst scenario I can possibly wrap my brain around. I knew without a doubt what I wanted to do was know that I was going to fight for my son, no matter how uncomfortable I was going to get.
Amilya is by far the most passionate person I've ever worked with in my life. She has an attitude that just wills herself to win. She puts her head down and she pushes through every single obstacle with a tenacious fire in her belly like I've never seen from any entrepreneur in my lifetime.
Like every great parent, I was excited to bring home and welcome my baby boy, but right away I knew that there was something not quite right. So within the first couple of weeks of breastfeeding and having him, he would, for no reason, his eyes would roll back in the back of his head and he would stop breathing, his lips would turn blue, and I would go flying off to the hospital room. One doctor led to another doctor, which led to another doctor. We ended up with, flying in some specialists from overseas, this little guy, thick accent, who basically said, "You need to let this one go." And I remember sitting in his hospital room, and you remember everything. You remember the smell, and you remember the sounds, and you remember that instant like it was yesterday. And I basically said, "If you let me keep him, I promise you I'll do something." And we ended up with a homeopathic specialist who said, "When you bring him home, he's getting sick. So therefore, it's got to be in your home." So I started keeping a journal. And then in my journal, I started to find out that every Tuesday we were going to the hospital. And I started to make the connection that I was creating a routine, and the routine all had to do around cleaning. And the day that I was cleaning was the day we were going to the hospital. I started looking at the products, and I realized that there was no ingredients. So there was no way for me to even break down or to start understanding what was in that bottle that I was buying, that I was spraying all over my house. So I went to the local library and I started requesting MSDS sheets. What are the manufacturer safety sheets that tell you exactly what's in a product? So by looking and reading the MSDS sheets, I started to look at the different ingredients that were in the products that I was purchasing in my home. So I took the name of that ingredient and I cross-referenced it into a PDR, which is a physician desk reference. And inside that PDR, in those side effects, that was my son. The red ears, the peeling of the skin, the respiratory failure, all of the different reactions that he was having just leaped off those pages for me. So immediately for me, I go into problem solving. And I was like, okay, so what I'll do is I'll just not clean. And in the process of not cleaning, my son started to get better. And then you go, okay, well, all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go buy a product that doesn't have any chemicals in it. And the reality is you can't do that. And in a phone call with my grandmother, explaining to her that my whole life was falling apart, that I was losing everything, that I felt like I was really losing my mind. She said, "Sweetie, in my day we made them." And that was the strangest thing I had ever heard. I was like, "You didn't go down to the grocery store?" And she's like, "Sweetie, no, we made our products." So in the beginning of building Soapworks, what became apparent was that the industry that I had jumped into without ever really realizing it was massive. It was a $90 billion category. And then there was little old me. And then, 5 women at my house making soap turned into 20, which turned into 50, which turned into 100. And then we moved from my home to my garage to a warehouse to a big warehouse to this enterprise. Soapworks birthed one of the first line of human and earth-friendly products that all worked as a family together, meaning each product did not interfere with another product. So you could take our laundry and mix it if you wanted to with our household or a window cleaner, and there would be no ill effect. So it was about creating a family of choices for consumers who wanted human and earth-friendly solutions.
Money is never an obstacle in Amilya's life. Money will not stand between the ideas that her and the team have and getting a product into the marketplace.
Soapworks, because I was moving into this huge category, I needed a lot of capital. So when I went into a bank, they were hysterical. They fell out of the chair laughing. They were like, "We are not giving you money." And when I started talking to VCs and angels, they were not going to give me money either. They're like, "You are a mom. what do you know about the household category? And so you start to get very creative going, well, how else can I do this? Because I'm not stopping. Stopping is not an option. I'm plowing forward, with or without you. Money doesn't stop people. It's something else. Money's an excuse to stop you. It's really, well, I don't really believe enough, or I'm afraid, or it's something else. It's not money that holds you back. And even now, I'm still very efficient with how I spend money on things, and I'm never going to get talked into doing something that's unbelievably elaborate until I know I've got a proven concept. Once I prove the concept, then I'll invest money.
I would have to say that Amilya is an absolutely instinctual team builder. She has this innate ability to draw out the best in people and to see the critical pieces in each person on her team, what's necessary, what's important, and what will validate the future of the business plan.
You may see me, but I am nothing without my incredible, phenomenal team of champions that are around me each and every day. I don't do anything alone. So I just take amazing, phenomenal people and I say, what's your gift? Somebody says their gift is numbers. I bring somebody in who's logistics. I bring somebody in who's branding. I brought somebody in who's design. After taking Soapworks to that kind of next level, what we needed was a national chain. So what I did was I started researching all of the different national chains that were out there. And I found a company that I believed resonated with what I was trying to do, obviously on a much smaller scale, but the mission statement, the core philosophies matched. So I knew if I could just get that buyer's 3 minutes of his time. I got on a plane to drive across the country, to show up in somebody's office that wasn't expecting me, and figure out a way that I got in front of the person who would not pick up my phone call and would not return the thank you notes and would not return the cookie baskets to give me what I needed, which was 3 minutes of his time. And I left with well over $1 million purchase order.
Amilya has a term she likes to call ground patrol, and ground patrol is her friendly way of talking about that shoe leather research.
I never move more than a few steps from what I call ground patrol, or living in the boundary. You must know not only your industry, but you also need to know the other industry leaders, your other competitors, the people that are actually on the ground, because that's where information comes first. And the first one to get access to the information is more likely to win. Now, if you can take information and capture it and utilize it, that's how you beat the big boys. I think, after selling Soapworks, I was given such a wonderful opportunity to participate as an expert in a lot of the TV programming. So I spent some time with CNBC, I do stuff now with Fox News, I guest on a whole bunch of different types of talk shows to really come in and be able to exchange information with people on how do they live their life, how do they start getting paid for what they love to do.
If you have an idea for a home-based business, but you have no clue where to start, or do you sit in your office and think, I could be doing this from home? Our guest today felt the same way, and they were able to make it happen. Amilya Antonetti always wanted to be home with her child, but she didn't think it was possible until her son's serious illness gave her a life-changing idea.
I will tell you that when you get a call from the Oprah people, you definitely know where you were that day. The people around me were like, oh my gosh, Amilya, you cannot go on Oprah and say, pick up the phone, send handwritten thank you notes, and send lots of cookies. And I'm like, but that's really how I build my businesses, by just showing people who I am and proving to them that I'll work as hard, if not harder, as they will, and that I'm committed. I'm 2 feet in. So Oprah gave me a platform for me to be heard because I'm just the girl next door. I have no fancy schmancy degrees. I don't have that circle of wealth or wisdom or 3rd generation of something. I'm just off the boat. If I can do it, I am positive you can do it.